Drip Trader here today, and today we're going to be talking about Flowalgo and why it's one of the godliest tools for any stock trader today. So basically, Flowalgo is a tool that gets all the huge call and put flow on a day-to-day basis for every single ticker out there. And these are mostly for even like small cap and large cap stocks. So today's Friday, and pretty much if we go down here to the very bottom, we had some calls going on for Apple and a couple other here for AMD. But basically it just helps you like figure out a good way to trade. And basically what you can do, this is basically pretty much all the stuff coming in, like real-time data coming in. But you can also click on here, which is called snapshot, and it'll tell you like for that current day, like how much people are buying for each specific stock, either if it's bullish or bearish. So for a bullish, today it's been a lot of not AMD. Well, yeah, AMD is down here, but also Alibaba, Apple, CRM, and ADBE. And you can see how much the call premium is being paid. So someone paid not someone, but a whole lot of people paid $30 million in premium that they're going to bet that Alibaba goes to 280, 260, 275 by this specific date, which means even if it's not currently at the price right now, the price is going to rise because people are paying these prices and the price of that certain ticker goes up. And there's also some bearish flow here. So if someone is betting $7 million that IWM, which is an ETF, is going to come down in price. And it's pretty much just one huge block here. So they paid about $7 million. But if you look at the overall thing, you have to look at both sides here. So you see this 30 million, 29 million, 22 million, 13 million. So these are huge amounts of money being paid that these stocks are going to go up in price. And as you can see on the other side for bearish, this price is like 7 million, 4.7 million, 2.8 million, 1.5. So it's not as much as the bullish flow. So today's a much more bullish day than bearish. And also if I go back here to the dashboard, it's going to tell you also if the day is bearish or bullish. And for like the past like 2-3 months, like literally every single day of the week has been pretty much bullish. Like this is the first one here. It just tells you bullish and just tells you like what percent of most incoming calls and puts are, and it's mostly just bullish like all the time. And so this is a put to call ratio, put flow, and then call flow. So you can see the call flow is way more than the put flow coming in. And also some dark pool and some equity blocks here, which I don't really use on a day-to-day basis. And there's also some alpha AI, which is basically like a tool that basically helps you make a decision. So for example, it saw there was a lot of AMD calls coming in, so it just tells you like to long AMD and to like long Walmart, because there's also a lot of Walmart calls coming in. And there's a search bar at the top right here. So if you click on this one, type in WMT, for example, that's for Walmart. Today there's a whole bunch of calls coming in for Walmart for 132, 132, 135, 134. And so basically you just make a prediction based off that and then try to make some easy gains off that. So it's really pretty easy how you use it, but just be aware that, just because they have an expiration for next week doesn't mean you should hold it until like the end of next week. You should feel good when to take profit and just say, okay, I've taken some money off the table and I made some money off of this. There's also a little bit of a chat room here, which I don't really use all the time, so I barely touch on this too much. And so basically it just tells you also all these different things as well. And also an example I want to give is, let me go here to this historic flow. So this third one right here is called historic flow, which basically just goes back in time and tells you all the stuff that happened in the past. So it's very, very, very useful to like look back at the dates and see what happened on a specific day. And so I'm gonna type in one specific one was FISV, well FISV, that's a ticker symbol. And so you can type it in, and you can even do specific dates and also the amount of premium and display how many were called. So I could just do like about like 40 if I wanted to show how many calls and puts were coming in. So I put in search, and we give it a second here. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a second. And so now you can see the specific dates on here. So like on August 7th, there were like huge amounts of money being paid for calls because this is like a really good company, and that it fell due to earnings because, during coronavirus, they weren't doing so well. So they started picking back up. So you can see here on, for example, like August 7th, that's the day that they fell down in price. People were buying huge amounts of calls for this. See nearly 1 million, $100,000, 5.4 million, 205,000, 1.4 million. So they're just buying these up. And if you look here at the chart here, on this specific day, this is also Thinkorswim, by the way, guys. So on this specific day, this was like on August 7th. So it was about around like here in this price range, I believe. either I think it was this day or this day. But regardless of that, people were buying these calls up, and as you can see over time, the price of the stock starts to rise again, and it reached over like about $102, $103, even on these 2 days, $100, $103. So you could have just ridden that price action up because, like I said, it had fallen due to earnings, and so people knew this was a really good company. So they just bought some long calls, which were for approximately like a couple years out, for example, like 2 years out. Well, not 2 years out, but like a year and a half out, the next couple months. And I actually rode that price action all the way back up, made like a couple dollars on it. So nothing too bad here. And also another way to look at things is to also just look at the charts. And a great chart that I like to use, or a great website I like to use, called TradingView. So you just type in tradingview.com, it'll send you over to here. And you just go to the search bar and just type in, for example, AMD or any type of stock that you want to look into. So if I'm looking for historic flow or like looking at things to get into, I'll just go ahead and click on here, click on full feature chart. You'll click on this one, and it'll go ahead and load up a chart of AMD. Now I'm going to show you guys something very, very, very simple that I used to use for AMD. So it currently is on a 15-minute chart. So I know this might look a little confusing. Well, all you pretty much have to do is click on like the time frame right here. You can change this to 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So I can just change this to 30 minutes right here. And it just to give you a brief rundown, these are pretty much all the days, and it's pretty much the price that it's at. You don't have to look at this part right here or too much of this right now as a beginner. So you can just look at these for an example. And this is the free version because I didn't log in. So you can also pay for a premium version if you want to. And so before AMD started rising up, it used to follow this consistent trend like all the time, like literally every single time throughout the like April all the way to like July. It used to follow this consistent pattern of just being super low and then picking back up. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw some lines here. So I'm going to click on this one right here. This is like a trend line. And so I can just draw this out here to this top points where AMD used to be at. So you can see every single time AMD got to a specific price. Ooh, whoops, not a little bit straight here. Or got close to this price range, it'll fall back. And even at times when it was at its bottom, so even like right here, it wouldn't stay there for long. So people just continue to buy the stock back every single time it fell. And it'll just stay in between this range all the time. So you can either just buy it, hold it, and then, once it fell down, you could sell it, make some puts on it, and just do that every single time. And then one day out of nowhere, Intel had some very, very, very bad news. And so as a competitor, AMD went up in price tremendously. So as you can see, they went from approximately like 60, well, close to like $60, and then they started going up like crazy. So it went from like $60 all the way up to $84. And on this specific day, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this. When AMD had fallen down, I think it was about this day right here. This is the day like when Intel announced that they had we're doing really, really, really bad. And so people started buying into AMD, and there was a whole bunch of call action going on for AMD. Let me see if I can actually show it for you guys here. I'm gonna try to find it because I thought about it and I was like, hey, these people are stupid for buying calls. How do they know what's gonna happen? And AMD just started bursting. And I'm actually gonna change this to about 100. This might be going a little slow here. One way for that to load. Well, anyways, guys, so as you can see, afterwards, AMD just started boosting up in price, and it passed this range that we had over here that it used to stay in. So it went past here, and then it started going up and up and up and up. And now currently, as you guys can see, you guys can even draw support and support lines right here as well, because you can see every single time it gets to this specific point, it doesn't go below here. So this is pretty much like a good indicator that you guys can use on a day-to-day basis. And you're just drawing this out on TradingView just to see where the stock will be at. What's the highest it's been and what's the lowest it's been in this specific time frame. So you can use this to make trades. So now AMD is on the way back up. It should be reaching close to $86 within the next couple of days or maybe even next week, because I did see some call action going on for AMD today as well. So it's a great tool to use. And for also TradingView, if you want to zoom in, zoom out, all you have to do is just use your scroll up and scroll down on your mouse to just be able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And it just helps you out with that. And also just drawing your trend lines, you just click on here. It just allows you to draw, and you can also just click on the delete button on your keyboard to delete it. So it's a great tool to use. And as you can see here, also this loaded up. So AMD calls were rolling in way back. As you guys can see, it was on August 6th. like $95 calls, $86 calls, and the price was like way cheaper than that. Well, I think this was like a little bit closer than it was beforehand. But as you guys can see, guys, people have just been buying up AMD like crazy. You can see there's barely any puts here, like rarely any puts here. So people are just pretty confident that AMD is just going to continue to rise in price, and you know that could just continue to happen. So this was all for today's video, guys. If you guys want 2 free stocks, I'm gonna leave a link down for my Webull down in the description, so you can sign up. If you create an account and deposit $100, you'll get 2 free stocks. If you guys have any questions, please leave a question down in the comment section, and please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Have a great day, guys, and I'll post some more content later.